Today I just want to sit down and talk about some things that's going on in the world. The word and the definition, because I always try to throw it in etymology, which is the studying the origin of words. Because basically we have a lot of things going on that we have people who are really spiritual. So they'll stick to the spiritual part of the word and then run all the way to the left with it because they're not understanding. And then we have the other people who are worldly, who are so caught up with the world that they're caught up with the illusion, the perception of what is actually going on. So with that being said, we have ISIS being called da-esh, we got boots on the ground, we have a lot of retirees that are coming in for this fight. Then we have Russia who sat over and shot the missiles, cruise missiles, over, knocking out some of the oil wells that were providing the funding. Now, if you have China, Russia, and Iran supporting ISIS, then you have America, France, Britain, and other countries going against what Russia and what Syria is trying to do. But then we have ISIS that we don't really even know if they're a terrorist jihadist group or if they're funded by the U.S. as propaganda. There's so much confusion going on there that everybody's trying to still figure it out when it's actually in front of their face. Them changing the name to ISIS and da-esh is not just a military meaning. Remember, I told you about etymology. That's the study in the origin of words. Came about around the 20th century, beginning of the 20th century. All right, and it means what in Arabic, al-shahad or something like that. So it's sort of separated. And if you want to know, it means the Levant. All right, it means the Levant. All right, da-esh could mean the Levant, Greater Syria, Damascus, or just Syria. So when you have boots on the ground from our side and other sides and air attack and everything else, and they're part of the coalition of the U.S., France, and whoever else, then what you have, and you have them calling it da-esh, what you have is them saying, hey, we have Syria, Damascus, or the greatest Syria, so we're going in to attack them. We are going to conquer and take over da-esh, which is we're going to go over and take over Damascus, and we're going to go over and take over Syria. So now, what difference does it make if they do take over Syria? Who in the heck is the ones over there saying that they're protecting Syria? China, Russia, and Iran. So now, if they're on one side defending the people on the other, you have your answer of who is who. So that should tell you right there to solve that problem. We also have where Israel was caught, all right, the general being generals of this da-esh and this ISIS. Now they probably didn't let you know, but they had rabbis and some people of Israel, Secret Service, IDF, and all that stuff that got caught up and got arrested. Just like they had some of the officers that had killed some Palestinians, and they were planting knives on the side of them. What does all this have to do with anything? Because everybody's looking at since the beginning of time there has been wars and rumors of wars and mass destruction and everything in the Middle East. We know that from the beginning of the Bible times all the way up until now. And with that being said, we have a lot of people who have used TV, written history, they have used technology, stories, and movies to brainwash, all right, people to believe that these group of people are the chosen ones, these ones aren't. Look at how they live. There's only one place in this world that everybody can come to from all parts of the country, but the people that actually built it still are down. And it's not because they want to be down, it's because they're being held down, kept down. That's just the curse of Jacob. That's what it is. And some of them are successful and make, you know, a little bit above their means, but not enough to be up there where you know, the seed of Satan and everything dwells. So with that being said, because money is the root of all evil, and we get caught up with the materialistic things, which also blindside us because we feel like a rock, or whether if it be a clear rock, a diamond, or a rock of shiny color, gold or silver, and that is the manipulation of things. Do you know how fast we could change the world if everybody stopped buying name brand stuff and went and bought cheap stuff? Because now you don't give them a reason to manipulate you or the masses by what you wear. So now you drop out of that socialistic group. When you don't feed into something or feed into the propaganda or get caught up with the illusion or the perception of something, you give that entity, corporation, or whoever, the Illuminati or the elite, they don't have control over you anymore. Do you know how many people have came over here from Yemen and other countries? I mean, seriously, and they've only been over here for 30 days, and they got a daggone corner store the next month. That should tell you something right there. And it's not that our government's looking out for them, it's just that they're looking out for certain people for certain reasons and certain agendas. But you have to get it. And you're never going to get it if the people keep plugging you in, or you don't want to listen to something, or you don't want to do the research and understand. So once you don't want to do that, you'll rather go sit down, believe a movie or believe this and believe what somebody says, and all they have to do is feed you a lie. So now that everything is coming out, and YouTube is one of the truest forms of getting pure information, because the news is not giving it to you anymore. They're giving it to you by the same people who are running the armies, the banks, who are feeding into the rhetoric. Nobody's looking at the features of some of the Middle Easterns compared to the Ashkenazi Jews, and they're just the same, they're just different colors. Nobody is looking at the chromosomes and why. A lot of the Muslims and Middle Easterns, they hate the Ashkenazis because of what's going on and because they're occupiers. And occupiers means that they're there and not supposed to be there, that they should be up north. They're not supposed to be there. They're occupying land that's not theirs anyway. So they don't realize that these Khazars and people, when everything started with a false angel coming to Abdullah Muhammad, that they were renting 40, 50,000 people from them to fight these wars to take over regions. See, a lot of people don't know their history. They don't know the trickery. Understand one thing. The devil is not like you. He's not like me. Satan does not work like that. When you dress up for Halloween, you dress up in a paganistic Halloween costume to pretend to be something else to fool somebody. All right? So if somebody can give the illusion and perception of fooling you, all right, just with a Halloween costume outfit, or with a voice, or using a different voice to fool you and give the illusion of perception that this cartoon movie that you're watching is actually really sounding like a little walking turtle cartoon, but it's actually a grown man that's imitating the voice to give you that perception, that illusion. So with that being said, if that can happen on a smaller scale, what do you think Satan and Lucifer, what do you think Lucifer, Satan, can do? All right, he can flip the whole thing around to make you believe that, hey, as long as you're doing good, you're wealthy or rich, as long as you do, guess what, you're chosen. No, that doesn't make any sense. Because then why would Yeshua go and tear everything out of and speak about storehouses and tear everything up in the temple? So what I'm trying to say is that a lot of us need to be re-educated, all right, refiltered with the knowledge and the wisdom that of truth, and get the false stuff out. Because everything is practically right there in front of everybody's face and they're not seeing it. They have commercials up here where they show the simple stuff that will brainwash us into believing something. Then the UNICEF commercials for the South America, they actually got the alien, in the classroom, and stuff is floating and all this other stuff. But out here we got the caring, loving, as long as you do this, you're part of. No, they got supernatural cartoons and stuff in the middle, but nobody pays attention. Pay attention to what's going on, people. All right? And I gave you the etymology definition of da-esh. And remember that your heart has to be right with God. You cannot sit down and push an agenda for somebody else. Yes, if we know that the Bible states for all the Christians, the fake Jews and the synagogue of Satan, all right, why in the heck are you getting diverted? Pay attention to what's going on in the Middle East. Pay attention to those that call themselves Jews and Jewish and Ashkenazi, because God had a trick to it. It was the same thing as Job. Everybody right now is fighting against each other. So you got a bunch of demons and Satanists and all this other stuff. The children of God got no say in it because they got no parts and no money, no nothing in it. So they're to the side watching all the Satan's little dominions fight each other over power and all this other stuff. They're all going to meet up on one region and be destroyed. That was the trick of it. So these people that are sitting out there, they're all supposed to be there anyway, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen for a reason. Because you can't get everybody in one, and you can't destroy here, 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 here. And the reason why the Hebrews and everybody has a hard time believing it is why? Because they're black. It doesn't make a difference what color they are, because once you accept what you accept, you become part of that too. So there is no separation. But if there is hypothetically a separation and you don't accept the truth and the whole truth, then that's something that you're going to have to deal with God. But understand that there's a trickery to all this. Because once you accept that trickery or that illusion, and you play a part of their agenda, whether if you say, hey, I love this Jesus, I love Christ, and Jesus did it, and I'm not saying that Jesus because I call him Yeshua, to get that out there. But once you say, hey, I love him, and then you start going on about Jewish stuff, that means you accepting them for who they are, and you accept what comes with that. You accept that sign, that mark of the beast. All right? So learn etymology in the word itself. Because a lot of us that are living in these innocent countries is another trick. Just like if you think black is bad, and when black is good, and then the other color is bad. I mean, come on, it doesn't make any sense. It's a trick in the trade, everything. Satan was that good. So you first have to find God, walk right with God, and get the illusion, the perception of what things are. Do you know how many women only want to be with somebody for money and all this other stuff? I can understand having a man that's going to take care of you and that can make you happy. But happiness should be the first thing you worry about, because everything else should fall in play if the love is true. I mean, it's the same thing with the love of God. You have faith in God and you love God, He'll continuously bless you because of that faith and that love. All right? So you can't serve two masters. You either have one or the other. You can't sit down and want somebody who's filthy rich and think that you're going to have every blessing in the world from God because you didn't step in that relationship with no God or no love. You stepped in there with another ideology. Look at the ideology thing, Thanksgiving. A lot of people don't know that that's a paganistic holiday for the murders and the stuff that they did and they were thankful for. All right? Not thankful because people came together. Thankful because they got to do whatever they had to do. Then that one thankfulness and Thanksgiving with the turkey and stuff, that dates back all the way to pagan religion, back in the Babylonian days, and even farther than that, to Nimrod, but nobody does the research. That Thanksgiving has nothing to do with God. If you want to be thankful, you should be able to have a turkey and be thankful every single day. Christmas, they're hanging the stuff on the tree, and hanging with blacks on the tree, that came from Nimrod also, all right? Because that's where the sacrifices and stuff like that, nobody got it. They just do sand, they just dressed it up different, made it do this like the date even has, 25th has to do with another pagan Roman god, and nobody sees it. All right, with that, I'm done. Have a good day.